We are saluting the men and women of HPD who rescued literally thousands of people when Harvey slammed into our area.
Yes, they did. It is dangerous work, and officers themselves sometimes need rescuing. Now, joining us now, Sergeant Epi Garza and Officer Alvin Steelman from HPD Lake Patrol. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for all the work that your team did. How many rescues do you think you guys made during the incident with Harvey?
The Houston Police Department Lake Patrol has around 4 boats. Each boat has 2 officers in it. And we're guessing on a 3-day period, we had about 1,500 rescues.
Wow.
And your boats are particularly well suited for this kind of thing, right?
Yes, they're a real wide platform. They're about 22 feet, and they're built by Boatwright, and they're 8 feet wide with handrails and seats on them. So they're really well suited for something like this. And they're real shallow too, which worked real well for the we're going down streets that weren't meant for boats.
Yeah.
We got some video, some photographs that you guys were kind enough to send in, and one of the things you all did was literally go into the neighborhoods. You can see here their boats there, how high the water was, but also into these nursing homes. Sergeant Garza, tell us that story about how they managed the folks there and getting the patients and the clients out.
Yes, the nursing home was in Kingwood. It was an assisted living, and it was very well organized. The staff members there would direct us on where to go, mainly the 2nd and 3rd floor, to get the rescues. And once we would bring them downstairs, there was one of the staff members who actually had a clipboard, and she would check everybody off as they came by, and she would tell them some good words, tell them, hey, you're going to be okay. And then she would also, on their arms, she would write their medical condition and their diagnosis and give them a small bag with all their medicine. It was very well organized.
Right, and we see some pictures. You were carrying a wheelchair out for someone, and these are some of the many people that you rescued out there. Must have been very emotional in some ways too, particularly with the older and the younger folks that you rescued.
Yes, one of the things that we did, we try to make it a priority to get the elderly people, people with medical conditions, and children, and people who are in high water. So the one with the wheelchair, we definitely, and the kids, as you can see in that picture there, that was #1 priority. If we saw somebody who was healthy and who was young, we'd tell them, hey, and they're close by to water, hey, just walk over there.
Yeah,
but people who need assistance was definitely a priority.
And obviously it wasn't easy. There was an issue with one of your boats, is that correct?
Yeah, we had some problems with the water was so swift and dangerous that any misstep whatsoever, we had to slow down for some boats that had already turned over. And as we come around a curve, the other boats were backed up, and we had to slow down. And when that happened, we had the top of the boat tangled into a tree. And
that's what we're seeing right here.
That's what we see right here. See, that water's moving, and it's very unforgiving. Once that water catches the back of the boat, it just flipped it, before you could react. You couldn't go back and you couldn't go forward, and it was just one of those things that just happened before you could maneuver out of it.
And was there another crew nearby to come get you guys?
Yes, there was. There was actually a lot of volunteers and other officers that were there. They were in some Zodiacs, and volunteers, man, they really stepped up.
Right.
I mean, the first responders were there, of course, but the volunteers from throughout, not only Texas, but all over the United States were there. Right. And they stepped right in, and they helped them out of the water and saved them.
Officer Steelman, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you, Sergeant Garza, for sharing all of this and for the great work you guys did. And thanks to those volunteers for helping out the Lake Patrol that day as well.
Outstanding.
We'll have much more on all of this in our next 45 minutes. You'll also hear from first responders, including members of the HPD dive team who rescued 3,000 people. One of the calls they responded to was for one of their own. Also joining us will be a lieutenant in Kingwood who dealt with tremendous challenges in that hard-hit area. That's all coming up in the next 45 minutes.
And remember